And welcome back. It is Pokemon Team Video Day, and today's Pokemon Team video comes to us from Me or Something. That is their actual name. Who asked the question, what is Jotaro Kujo or Jotaro Joestar's Pokemon team from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Now, like last week, I have to kind of just, put my paw on my face a little bit and go, oh, God, because shocker, don't read or watch JoJo. Look, I know it has a ravenous fan base, but I've never gotten on board with it. I think part of it, no joke, is the animation style does not compute with me. Like, it doesn't work. And I can't really put my finger on why. I think it's just there's a little too much, it's weird to say, glossy nature to, like, the animation, like, the characters and all that. I mean, the lore is all well and good, and I'm sure if I gave it a shot, I might at least tolerate it, but minimum. But I've never gotten into this series. That said, however, I've done several Who Would Wins, and to a lot of the chagrin of a lot of people who are JoJo fans, it's like, why are you doing this if you don't know the series? Because people give me suggestions. Just like this, why am I doing this if I don't know JoJo? Guess what? People give me suggestions. That's kind of what this channel is fueled on, although I'm more than capable of fueling it myself. I just prefer to let people be a part of things. So, yeah. I'm going by the information I know of this guy, based on the information I have on this guy, which luckily there's plenty of information out there, so it's not like I'm completely going off of what I think this guy can do. No, there's information obviously out there I can go off of. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, one of the big things that actually that is brought up about we'll call him Jotaro. One of the big things that is brought up about Jotaro is the fact that he's actually very much like looks like, and for a while acted like, a delinquent. That he's basically a troublemaker, a guy who would like you get in trouble, the cops probably know his name and all that stuff. It's like, oh, Jotaro, you're at it again, for God's sake, That's one of the big things about you. He's got this delinquent attitude. So I wanted, personal appearance and outward, not outward view. It's the way he's kind of shown to the world. He doesn't seem to have any problem making people look at him and see a delinquent. So I wanted some Pokemon that kind of fit that mold. That kind of fit the mold of, hey, but ultimately he's a good-natured individual. That's the thing. So I wanted Pokemon that could kind of fit on the quiet, loner, doesn't talk much, delinquent type, but ultimately a good person. And one Pokemon that immediately came to mind is the one that we have that's based off really a Japanese delinquent, Scrappy. Now, I could have gone with Scraggy, but I like Scrappy better because it's just stronger and it looks more like a punk than Scraggy does. Scraggy just makes me sad. I mean, this line, I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. I've never used it, but I mean, it's a punk. It's like a punk kid on the street. Mohawk, baggy pants, the whole 9 yards. So it definitely makes sense that something like this, at least for outward appearance sake, would be on his team. Another Pokemon that would definitely be on his team, based off the concept of, it looks like a mean dude, it looks like a punk, but ultimately is actually a gentle soul that does care about people, Pangoro. It is stated in Pangoro that they will protect and are violent and will go out of their way to attack people if need be, or go toe to toe with others just to get out of their territory. But they will also protect weaker Pokemon and are actually generally nice Pokemon when you break it down. They're just rough and tough punks, basically. And this makes sense. Again, this makes sense to Jotaro, who generally does the right thing. He has a good heart, but he's generally also not really in the mood to be talking to people. So this makes a lot of sense. He's also got like the kind of, he's got the jacket tails, if you will, flanks. What are they called exactly? The bottom of your coat. Anyway, he's got that sticking out there, kind of the same as Jotaro does. So that, I think, makes sense. Pangoro makes sense. This next one, I'll admit, I just want kind of like the silent Pokemon, the lone Pokemon who doesn't usually say much on the team. And for me, I'm like, well, let me think about that. Like that kind of sound. There's plenty of Pokemon that can fit that motif too. But I liked Greninja. I surprisingly liked Greninja for this. I don't know why. Maybe it's because he's got the dark aspect to him. Maybe it's because he's a bit of a ninja. Well, a bit of a ninja. He's a ninja. Maybe it's the whole idea that I see the whole stance of him just standing there looking at the world with his tongue scarf wrapped around his neck and then going in and saving the day. I don't know. Greninja just for some reason in my head kind of fits for that whole, silent badass kind of motif. But that's really just facets of his personality, who he is. The big thing I think a lot of people are wondering is, what is the Star Platinum or Star Platinum the World? What is the representation of that on his team? And I have 3 Pokemon that ultimately I think represent this. Now, in JoJo, for those of you who are watching this for some reason who don't know about JoJo, and I'm sure there might be some, in the world of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, there are those who are called stand users. They're a small sect of people, but there are those who are stand users. Now, a stand is essentially a sentient spirit. Isn't incorrect, but it's not correct. They are a sentient entity that is connected to you. They are intangible to anyone except, or excuse me, not intangible. They are invisible to anyone except other stand users. Only other stand users can see a stand, and they usually take the form of, a physical individual. An individual. Now, a stand can interact with the physical world, though. And all these stands have different abilities. Now, his stand is known as Star Platinum. It's considered to be one of the strongest stands. It's also considered to be one of the most violent. And it has many abilities. Now, one of the biggest, many abilities. It's got immense physicality, but it also has a single ability that is kind of broken in how powerful it is, which we'll talk about in just a second. But let's talk about the physical aspect of it first. For the physical aspect, if you're a fan of JoJo, you know the whole Ora 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 Ora. This guy can literally throw God knows how many punches within seconds to just obliterate someone. Add his ability onto that, he can do it even farther, more. And even though he doesn't have multiple limbs, I actually felt that Machamp was very good for this type of representation, due to the fact that, Machamp is said to be able to throw 1,000 punches within a second. This, I think this just matches up with the whole Ora Ora ability or attack pretty well. I imagine, because Star Platinum is also one of the fastest stands, although I don't think it is the fastest, technically, if you factor its ability in. The other Pokemon I wanted, well, let me put it this way. Apart from the Pokemon that represents his ability, I'm like, okay, what is the other Pokemon I can think of that I'd put on this team? Now, this is where, in fact, let's get the stand out of the way, or stand's actual ability out of the way. Star Platinum's ability, Star Platinum the World's ability, is to freeze time for a certain amount of seconds at a time. And it can do this indefinitely. Dio also has the same ability. And there's only two Pokemon that have any sort of time manipulation abilities. One is Celebi that travels through time, which Star Platinum doesn't do that. So then your only other option there is Dialga. And yeah, there's really no other option there. It's got to be Dialga. And it would make sense. JoJo is, or Joestar is based, or Joestar. I'm not wrong on that. Jotaro is basically the strongest individual, or one of the strongest individuals in the series. So it makes sense a legendary could be on there. But that last Pokemon I was about to mention, this one actually came off to me a bit more tricky, because I'm like, okay, I got the punk aspect of him. I got stuff to represent Star Platinum, the Star Platinum world. But, I mean, is there anything else I can do to represent Star Platinum? I've already got, this physicality of Machamp. I got the time stuff ability. What else? And I'm like, is there a Pokemon that can represent the fact that Star Platinum is a separate entity connected to Jotaro? Is there a Pokemon that can do that? And I'm thinking on it, I'm like, not really. And then I stop and think again, I'm like, well, wait a minute. There's an option here that I haven't considered. I had not used this Pokemon on a team yet, because there has not been a character that I felt has warranted using this particular. I mean, there's plenty of Pokemon, to be fair. There's only 900. There's plenty of Pokemon I have not used yet on a team. But, this is a Pokemon that I'm surprised I haven't had a chance to use on a team yet. Marshadow. Marshadow is a ghost fighting type, the only one that exists right now. It literally lives in shadows and mirrors the movements of others. And A, it's a ghost type, which can represent the more spectral aspect of a stand. B, it's a fighting type, which represents the the fighting aspect of Star Platinum. But more to the point, it can live basically, in theory, if Marshadow wanted to, it could just live in a person's shadow the whole time, mimicking and copying their movements all they want, and just be kind of bound to them if they wanted to be. And that is what a stand kind of does. I mean, they live alongside their user. They exist alongside. If the user dies, they will die. And I don't think a stand necessarily has to mimic their users' movements, but they could. Star Platinum certainly could. Could. But yeah, they certainly could. I don't know. Marshadow just seems to be one that makes sense to me, and its form does change. I mean, it's not a major change. This is not actually what it looks like. This is what it looks like in certain situations. Hold on, let me get Marshadow up here real quick for information purposes on what the form change is about. Let's see here, Marshadow. There we go. Man, I get mythicals. I do, at least initially. I get them, but after a while, you're like, can't we just have these guys, man? I mean, seriously, come on. Like, I'm glad that I've been playing Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. I'm glad I could get my I got Jirachi for the first time. And yeah, I've been playing with that damn thing all the time. Let's see here. No, maybe that's not what I want to do. Maybe this is what I want to do for a change in form. Okay, so I think that green outfit or hood form he has, I believe that's when he's either using a Z move or when he's just attacking. Otherwise, he just looks like this little black little ghost. And it's cute. I've actually always liked a Marshadow. Marshadow is actually a pretty cute little guy. Anyway, so this to me, I think, is the best. As someone who only has the knowledge that's available to him online, who has never actually watched or been a part of the series, this is the best team I think I can make for Jotaro Joestar or Jotaro Kujo. But ultimately, this is just my opinion. Again, we have Dialga for the time stop ability, Machamp and Marshadow represent the physical aspects, as well as Marshadow representing the more separate but connected aspect of the stand. You have Scrappy and Pangoro to represent the punk aspects, the delinquent aspects of him. And then you have Greninja just to represent the cool side of him, like the cool, collect, calm side of him. Pretty heavy fighting type team here, but there's enough variety here that his team wouldn't get swept by like a psychic team, or wouldn't get swept by like flying or fairy. A fairy type team, I take that back. Fairy might actually be a very big problem for this team, as he's got 3 dark types, a dragon type, and 4 fighting types. So actually, a fairy type, team would spell massive trouble for this guy. But that kind of goes to show that no team is perfect, and this isn't made for competitive or anything. This is just my opinion. I can't stand competitive, to be honest. I can't stand any of that kind of mentality. I digress. So that is Jotaro Joestar's Pokemon team. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. What would you do differently for all you JoJo fans out there who want to just rag on me for like, you don't even know it? What would you do differently for the team? I'm totally up for being wrong on this, 100%. If I were to say, like, if there's any Pokemon on this team that I would keep, it would probably be... It probably would still be... I'd still keep Scrappy for the Delinquent. I'd keep Dialga for the Time Stop ability, because there's very few options for that in Pokemon. And I'll be honest, I might keep Marshadow over Machamp, but I think it's interchangeable what we could do with those. So I would at least keep those 3, with Machamp or Marshadow being interchangeable. But again, that's just my opinion. What do you think? Put in the comments below, let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you folks later for Box Office. Have a good one.